Hey, it's April from Learn, Do, Become, and if you're like most people, you have a really long list for yourself, your family, your profession, you're doing a lot of things. But the list often just gets longer and longer and longer. It's like this race to the bottom and it never actually gets done. And today we're uncovering the biggest lie about our long list. And I promise by the end of the video, you're going to see how your list can become lighter and actually get finished every day. The lie is this: a long list equals I get more things done. Now, before you say, no, that's not a lie, that's true, I want to show you a different way to look at it that I think will change the way you work and reduce your stress so you can be present for your family, you can get the rest and replenishment you need, and you don't need to feel like you're always chasing that list. Now, you might be thinking, I would love not to have a long list. I'd love to make it short. But what people tell me is, April, a short list sounds great, but I'm going to have a lot of backlog next week, or there will be consequences if I don't do everything I need to do. And you might be thinking about that right now. You're thinking, April, you don't know what's on my list. You don't know that all the things I have to do, I really have to do. I believe you. And so let me just show you, if you are afraid to make a short list, here are some of the benefits of that fear, okay? One, it acknowledges that a short list does feel better. So you're, expressing that hope. It also shows you're realistic because you know that there's a lot that you have to do and there's a pace you need to keep the family and your own health and your profession, everything going. And it also shows that you're responsible because you care about getting the things done that you said you would do. And that's probably what's kind of keeping you up at night or causing you to feel kind of stressed and on edge because you're thinking, I have to get these things done. The problem is if you're feeling your brain spinning and you're feeling constant stress or overwhelm, there's a better way to do it. Now I'm going to get into specifics and show you how exactly to make your long list shorter, but first I wanted to talk about some of our beliefs versus actuality about a short versus long list. I know you might be thinking, April, why do you care so much about lists? It's because what you put on your list and how you structure it impacts so much of your day. It impacts how you feel, it impacts your interactions with your loved ones, it impacts your energy level, all of it, okay? So here's the thing, when we look at that big lie, okay, if I have a long list, I'm going to get more done, you know it's a lie. Because how many times have you made a long list and gotten more done because the list was longer? You know it overwhelms you, you know it stops you. So let's talk about what our beliefs are, because this is what people are telling me all the time. If we have a short list, we're ignoring important things, right? What about all these other things? We're just ignoring them. We're going to forget everything else. And we're living below our energy and responsibilities. I want to speak to that for a moment because I know when we write a long list, we initially feel kind of a burst because we think, oh, look at all these things that I'm capable of doing, that people have delegated to me, look how responsible I am. And we kind of get this little burst of energy when we make it. But you know that you're not getting it all done and then you're stressed. So here's what happens when you actually have a shorter list. We're selecting the highest priority items. So you're not forgetting about all of this, you're just picking the ones that are most important and putting those on the short list. We're also providing space to get things done. You know there's a difference when you open up an app or a paper planner or something and you have like 2 things on your list. You think, oh, that's just so easy. So now you're approaching it feeling like, I have space to get things done. Also, we're going to build momentum. Because when you get those highest priority things done and they're simple, then you feel like, oh look, I'm in productive flow. I can get more done and you don't feel discouraged or down about yourself or frustrated about the list because it's just short and it's doable and you're getting it done. We'll also get to the next ones when we finish the first ones. That's why having a system is so important because I'm not asking you to burn it or throw it away. I'm asking you to put it on your next in line list. Just do the ones that are most important now. We're also going to ultimately get more done without the stress. And it's not about getting a lot done. It's just about getting the important things done. And maybe you're going to take more naps. Maybe you're going to read more. Maybe you're going to spend time with your spouse or your children. That's going to be awesome. And we're going to get rid of that addiction we have to writing a lot of things, writing like crazy, getting everything done. Instead, we're going to move at a different pace while still accomplishing what we need to accomplish and reaching our goals, which is where it gets even more fun. At this point, you may be thinking, okay, April, I will try out your short list, but how do I actually do that? So the first thing I want you to do is write down the things that you need to do in the next few weeks. So that might be a mind sweep, everything that's on your mind. I wrote an example here. You might have a lot more than this, but don't write the things you're kind of wanting to do someday. I'm thinking next 1 to 3 weeks, what do you actually have to do? Maybe even pause the video and do that now. Now that you have this list written, we're going to first pull out calendar specific items. So I just put a little red calendar icon next to those things that could either be appointments, like a dentist on the 4th at 3, or they're date specific tasks, like return the package on Thursday. Things like the trip, the conference, those should just be on the calendar. If there are tasks associated with them to prepare in advance, then fine, you want to write those out separately. But right now we're just taking anything that belongs on the calendar, and as long as you check your calendar every day, those will be safe and taken care of. Next, we want to have the routines go onto a routines list. So I starred exercise, vitamins daily, and laundry. Those are routines, things that you just do over and over again. They're never like done for good. Those I want you to put on a routines list. I made this cute little one, okay? So this means daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. And then I like these categories of for me, for my family, or beyond. That means paid or volunteer work, okay? So you could make a routines list, and this could be a spreadsheet, or it could be something in a digital app, or it could just be a piece of paper or a big poster or something that looks like this. But that's where you put your routines, and you either post it or you review it regularly and you've got it in front of you so you don't forget. So by the time you've taken off the calendar items and the routines, what should be left are projects and next actions. So I went ahead and put a P with a circle around it to represent projects. So things like updating a sales page, learning accounting software, and cleaning up the garden. I keep my projects on a chalkboard that I hang in my office that just shows what I'm working on that month. Now, the number of projects that you choose depends on how many calendar and routine items and other responsibilities that you have. So if you have a ton of stuff going on, you might just have a few projects. This right now is feeling pretty good to me considering the other things I have happening. The other thing to note is, let's say maybe 2 of these projects you want to put on your current list. The other one could be on a next in line list. You don't necessarily have to do all of those right this minute. But that way you're able to just do a few projects between 1 and 8 per month, at least what's on the board. And then if you get them all done, you can add more as you go. But that way you're going to take these projects and have those off the general list so you can work on them in bite-sized steps. And the last step was taking any next actions and putting them on your next actions list, okay? So this is a weekly list organized by context, where you are when you're getting the list done. I talk about it all the time here on the channel, but I might say, okay, blood work, I've already got the order. That's just gonna be an errand. Fixing the faucet, maybe I'm just gonna call somebody who I already trust who can just come. So that's just a phone call. And then birthday gifts, maybe that's just an online ordering, right? So that way you've now taken this big long list and you've segmented it so it just feels like, okay, I can get this done. And if you have 10 times this much, that's okay. You're just going to move it where it belongs and then prioritize. If you have more than like 2 to 3 next actions in each of those categories, you're going to want to put those on a next in line list. So next in line, next actions, just so you don't overload your list. Because if you have 30, 50, 100 tasks squeezed into something like this, you're not even gonna wanna look at it, okay? So that's a little pro tip. I know how tempting it is to believe that lie that a long list means we get more done, but I also know how it feels when you have long lists day after day after day, you don't get them done, and you just feel discouraged and overwhelmed constantly. I want to help you out of that overwhelm so that you can thrive, you can be healthy, you can be present for those who need you, you can do your work and have that creative outlet and all the things that you've been wanting to do. It can still happen, but the list doesn't need to push you. Instead, you can have the list be your support, your little friend that comes along with you. So your next step is go through and actually implement what we talked about today. Get that mind sweep out on paper, figure out where things go, make your list really short, get those next in line lists ready, and then let me know how it goes. I really want to hear from you in the comments. I read every comment. I want to know, how's it working? Do you have any follow-up questions? How are you feeling? Is your list shorter? Okay, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you soon at Learn, Do, Become.